Give me the keys, punk. It's back. Oh!
Hey, how you doing? Let's go into the striking tools. I want to share some of the striking elements of Natural Spirit with you. The idea of Natural Spirit is a concept art. It takes the best of whatever we can devise according to our body structure and our ability to develop our own attributes. Striking tools, the hands, knees, elbows, low-line kicks, base disruptions, closing in, taking the guy down, and taking advantage of the ability to kick, hit, without having to close in on him, and tunnel vision on a specific opponent. One of the most important things about the striking tools is we need to utilize them in a multifaceted range. By taking out a long-range person, that gives us a chance to bridge and gain distance on another individual, or just to clear the area. Self-defense isn't about getting in a fight. There's a big difference between self-defense and squaring off with a guy and you both are ready to go. Self-defense is about spontaneity, being able to move when you see him move, and then take the most vital targets and get out of there. Let's get moving. We're going to bring in one of the students, Wynn Sargent. Wynn, you want to come on in? First concept we're going to deal with is single direct attack. These methods come more from the JKD, but in all arts, they are applied. So let's put it together, then you can call it what you want once you've mastered the techniques and applied them to your method or your intent. Wynn, how you doing? Good. All right. Okay, basically on this first line, we're going to have Wynn approach us and palm us on the chest. Now as he starts to clang us with the other hand, just palm first, he's going to load up. We perceive that. We're going to bring this up either into the eye attack to neutralize him, or if he pushes us off on the distance, we're going to go into the low side kick to the knee. Sounds like some punch right there, huh? Yeah, no doubt. Safety is a key issue whenever you're dealing with the joints or the striking arts. So you have to be very comprehensive about using control, going to the proper target, and then not damaging your opponent too bad. You guys got to train together. If you do damage to each other, you won't be back to train tomorrow. So let's take the second line as he pushes off. And as he approaches, I'm going to distance off and use a side kick to the knee. Okay? So back up just a little bit, step on in. As he distances, I already feel his intent. I'm going to bridge by utilizing the hand technique, then going right into the knee position. One of the key things here is transferring your weight. The kick ain't going to do you any good if he's here. He's already here, and I have to step to transfer my weight and throw the kick. As he moves in, I step back and just load the kick up. One of the most important things with the side kick, especially directed down at the knee, is having the distance so that we can execute it with proper technique. As Wynn distance in, I'm going to step back using a bridging. Hopefully I can cling to him. If not, it's just a deflection. There's the side kick to the knee. No doubt I'm going to get a strong reaction to him to where I can cover with another technique. Most importantly, when you're working single direct attack, you just want that technique to be strong enough and executed with enough intent so that that's going to stop him. Okay? Let's step in again. Bring the hand up. This could also go right into the eyes, which is a deflection or a distraction. Then right into the knee. Okay? One more time. And stepping out. And side kick to the knee. Okay? Let's change his targeting here just a little bit, or his line, or his approach. Now, if I'm on the interior part of the body, he'll reach in with the right arm. I'm still going out to the outside, but now I'm going to use an inward hand motion. This way I can monitor that rear hand and still utilize the side kick into the interior part of the knee. Okay? Let's work that again. One, check here, and into the knee. Now, if you know this guy's upset at you, there's no reason you should have to wait for this guy to clang you or get close enough for him to hit you. Naturally, if he's moving in on you quick, he's going to jam your leg kick, and it ain't going to have the proper effect to neutralize him so you can get out of there. We'll work it a little bit more, and we'll work it off his rear foot this time. That way, when I distance, come on in, when I distance off here, I'm back onto this side. So each time you do the side kick, doesn't matter the angle of where you're coming from, just as long as you use the right tool and approach the right limb. So I might not be able to react and get his lead leg, so I'll have to take that rear leg. Okay? Now let's work this again. Come on in here. Another way to work this, let's lock in here, is that I deliver my side kick, Win delivers his. See, this way we're at our range, wrist to wrist or long range, because basically I shouldn't be able to touch his face. We should be able to touch here and touch here. We shouldn't be able to touch the face yet unless we close in with our secondary tools. So we're locked in here just for the practice and targeting. Okay. Okay. Now, one of the most important things is getting that range. Say I've already aggressed on this guy, pushed him off once. When you want to step back just about a half a step. Now he wants to be able to bridge on me. So can you reach me just by transferring your weight? See, he had to do the step in order to do that. So let's bring it in. Let's see the side kick, step, side kick. How can we eliminate that step? Let's see it again. Get to that distance. See, now he's stepping in front of, putting the hip in position so it comes here. Another step that I've seen done a lot is stepping behind. When you're bridging on range and trying to take advantage of your long-range tools, shifting your weight, subtle skips, helps shift that weight without having to load the knee and execute the technique out in the snap manner. So you're just coming out this way. Less telegraphic, especially if you're already touching or the engagement's already happened. If I go here, 1, 2, 3, he sees it coming. He sees the step, he sees the knee lift, and he sees the execution. So what we want to do is, once we've been pushed or shoved, put that weight on the back leg. So this is very light. If we were traditional, it might be like a cat stance, right? But we're just very light on this leg. Then we add the hop and use a stiff leg with the heel and side of the foot or the bottom of the foot with proper placement. We're going to blow that knee up. Okay, we're going to come back to the side kick. Going to give you a couple more low-line kick destructions off the single direct attack. Then we'll put them into combination. Naturally, putting things into combination on the kicking arts, sometimes it's going from leg to leg or you're focusing on that same leg. For one, balance and weight transference so you can understand if you get bumped or nudged or if your balance is taken, you can transfer that energy while still pivoting. Okay, let's bring Win back in. Side kick is good if you're on a side position, especially after you throw the kick on a single direct. That allows you to distance out a little bit more. But say we're approached straight on, I want to stop the guy with the bottom of the foot. Oh, look, he gave me that, he gave me this. That's the deal. Things start popping up. Once you make an initial execution of movement and get a single direct attack on him, if you want to follow this up, it's your decision. You can either get out of there or you've set him up, especially if you're the first one to attack. You set him up for the follow-up. That way you can do combinations or just step on his foot and send him sailing with a push. Okay? As he distances in, I'm going to go with that bottom foot. See, he gave me that hand again. There's the eyes now. So everything comes into play. Let's just go down. The bottom foot comes straight up from the floor, just like that, and lifts up. We'd like to hit with the heel and press. That's what happens. We lock the knee. From there, you see, we can close and either shear him or knee spike him or take his balance. But we're still working on just destructing him, or at least neutralizing his aggression with kicking lines. As he enters in, whoop, right there to the knee. See, now from this position, if I wanted to do the boot scoot boogie, step down, there's the side kick. Even though they're all single direct attacks, by putting them in sequence, now you have combinations. Okay, so he moves in right here. Again, a key thing about the straight line kick is working it from a neutralized balance point. Basically, you're looking at a 50-50 balance point, whereas a side kick, you've already transferred the weight to, say, 80-20. It really depends on which way you're going. If it's a multiple attack, you can't afford to get in, say, a back stance or a forward stance and deal with multi-angles of attack. So you want to stay very balanced, very neutral, and 50-50 stance allows you to do that. So from a front line, I could fire this leg if I want to, then pull him in. There's that Bill G again. And naturally you could see positions where we could either go to locking, either trapping and neutralization, or back out to the range of the side kick. Okay, bottom foot, and step in and go like this. Now to work that, to develop the skill, I don't want to create a threat or a distraction to the development of the kick. So I'm just going to stand here while Win places his kicks in. Now it's your turn. Sorry, no sweat. Go ahead and bring in a low bottom kick. That's it. Come on, just fire him in. That's it. Repetition's the key. See now what I would tell him right there, he's a little bit low. He's hitting the joint. If there's any bend in the joint, go back to the exact target you were at. I don't think he's going to have the strength in his kick to do anything but upset me. So that's one of the neat things that I learned going into the grappling arts. Sometimes the striking arts just don't neutralize a guy if his balance point or his tools are hard and he's ready to rock. So if Win throws that kick and my knee's bent, I'm coming in and I'm going to take him. So the technique has to be basically right above the knee. So let's go for better targeting. There you go. And as you add that, keep firing. As you add that heel in there a little bit, see this is pressing, so go ahead and go to placement. You can bounce off me if you want. Go to placement. That's the side kick, brother. There we go, bottom foot. There you go. That's the action or the reaction you want. Now it's an issue of Win just pulling my hand and he's got me off balance and into a control technique. Win's in a similar situation as I am. If I go out and just beat somebody severely with the striking tools and don't try to control him, then chances are when I get to court, it's going to look pretty bad. Doing the striking lines, it's very important that you only take the targets that you need to take, neutralize the threat, and then move on or control him. Win's a police officer, so it makes it real difficult for him to get out there and just really hammer on somebody. Okay, but striking tools are an essential part of combat, and even though you have controlling skills, you got to be able to strike, especially if there's more than one opponent. So anyway, let's shift legs. It doesn't matter which one you come at it with me, but go ahead and go to placement. There you go. That's it. Even a high one up into the thigh, if it's powered in there and the targeting and the placement of his heel is correct, I'm going to Charlie horse here, and he's going to have balance. There again, going to the knee or going to the hip is going to create the same type of reaction. Okay. The deal is once the kick gets a little bit higher, and this isn't a fast kick, so it has to be kind of deceptive. Once the kick gets a little bit higher, it's easier for me to grab it. So if he fires that kick there, I can crouch and grab it here. Whereas if he fires it to the knee, I go down, look at my head. See, so sometimes with this low-line destruction, you want to be very accurate on your techniques. And this bottom foot technique is very essential for close quarter combat. Let's just say Win's really close to me. Come on in and even choke me. I mean, don't choke me too hard. But say we're right here, and I can't do a side kick. That's very, definite. I can do the bottom of the kick here, or come up into the, above the knee, right into the inner thigh with my heel. Now this can be done either as a press, or we can use it as a shear. Boom, like that. So it shears. Now when you shear, thanks, Win. When you shear, we're also looking for the nerves right on the inner thigh. But one of the key things is, you want to bring that knee up here, is when we shear, we're taking the edge of or the top of this kneecap and just popping it over like that. With wrestling shoes, it don't show. But any kind of shoe with a hard sole or a heel, we're doing some serious damage by letting this kick come out this way instead of just straight in. Now, how can I utilize these two kicks in combination? One, if he's going to be closer, and I have to use this kick here. If I parry out and just want to get him out of the way, that's when the secondary kick comes into play. Okay? If I reverse that method and I get out of the way and I use the side kick when I come in here to close, now I'm in a position to push and take him to the mat or do some serious damage to his ankle. So I can go from the instep to the side kick, or the side kick to the instep, just depending on where my position is, to my opponent. Or if there's a guy here and Wynn's working me, I'm going over here getting the side kick. Then I might come in with my bottom foot and reposition Wynn between me and him. If I'm here, hopefully this is a thumb to the eye or even a headbutt. We don't want to get too carried away. We're still working on our long range. But see how essential distancing is. Staying with the theme of low-line kick destructions, let's go into something that snaps a little bit. Okay, most tools work off the concept of the front kick, extension and retraction. We want to be able to take advantage of both of those. But to do so, we need to have Wynn approach us in a different line or change our line of attack when he approaches us. For one, off the straight line front kick, he comes in with his hand, we can fire that front kick right on in. And then we can follow with our hand techniques. Snapping techniques, pelvic or the groin, front kick, ball of the foot. Or as he comes in, we could push him back with that just by coming in and utilizing the heel. There again, when we're utilizing a front kick, we want it to be dynamic enough so that the force will project him back off us or fold him down. I mean, I'm not a great traditional kicker. What I kick and how I kick is according to the tools in my body. I adjust all techniques to my own personal attributes. I don't spend a lot of time becoming a full stretch kind of guy. I prefer working on tool development, developing what's natural, then working for more flexibility or working to look better in my technique. First thing, I want to be effective. When a student comes to me, I don't care how they look. What I want to do is look them in the eye, send them out the door with some essential tools that are very effective without too much work, too much time consuming. It doesn't take 3 years to be good at self-defense. If you go into a school or a studio to learn self-defense, you should come out that day with at least 1 or 2 good ideas of what to do at either range, okay? So, I don't want to get on a big rant and rave, so let's just work on this front kick here a little bit. There again, as he comes in, I want to target the pelvic, the floating ribs, the abdominal area. If I throw a front kick down here at the knee, unless he's really close, I could be accurate. If I got shoes or boots on, anything I hit is going to hurt. And there again, I very rarely run around barefoot, and I haven't fought in my boat lately, so I'm not really worried about that. I always wear shoes or sandals, something that has a striking edge on it, okay? Everybody has the front kick, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time on the front kick. But what we will show is how to transition from that front kick into that side kick and that bottom kick. So as Wynn comes in, I'll use this. It's a nice long-range tool and transfer right into the side kick, then pull him into the bottom kick. Now I've got adhesion, plus I'm in a position to strike or trap or neutralize the threat of his second-range tools. So that front kick stops the action, boom, I transfer the action. Now if I have to sit down, I can follow up with that low-line destruction here, okay? So from the front kick, boom, it could go right into there. Now here again, once I close, now it appears to be a stomp, but it's still the same technique. That's a funny thing about martial arts. Different systems really rely on one specific range or one specific intent. You know, a few variable strategies, but very few address all 4 ranges and then make you transition into those 4 ranges by learning something complete about each element. And that's what's really important. If you're a good kicker and you can kick that guy in the head, if you're on slippery turf, or you're wearing tight pants because you're looking good for Friday night and you're taking the girlfriend out, that's going to put a damper on that kicking style. And if you're in street shoes, on concrete, you throw a good kick to the head, the guy traps it, foot sweeps you, boy, your strategy is pretty bad because you did all the damage yourself. So in a street situation, make sure you emphasize low kicks. There's no reason to throw those kicks up, off-balance your body, and at the same time, throwing high kicks almost neutralizes your second range. At least there's a gap, there's a space in the transition from high kicks to where the body comes back down and you're able to execute hand techniques, okay? Back into that front kick. The front kick comes in, side kick comes down, transfer to a bottom knee or bottom foot to the knee. Now this isn't what I do in a street situation, but this is how I practice to develop the agility to be able to transfer from one motion to the next. If I go here with the front kick, I can do that side kick and transfer right into here. Now we're into a better position to throwing down, and you bet when he hits the ground, I'll be able to side kick him in the head. I'll be able to bottom foot him and step on his ankle, and I'll be able to front kick him in just about anywhere I want to front kick. The front kick using the toe or the ball of the foot, so it's going to be just like a fist coming in and knotting the guy up, whether I hit anything or not. If I've got shoes on, I'm basically protected. He's the one that's vulnerable, especially to the impact of the front kick. Side kick, it's going to take a little bit more finesse to place that. Also, if the guy parries my leg out, he'll spin my momentum and I'll be off balance. That being the case, that would be one of those areas, crucial areas, where you might use a spinning technique or a drop technique where your weight is thrown off. Meaning he pushes my leg aside, I might as well drop. Now I'll go to that kick. See, now to get into a better position to cover up for here, I'll go into this position or this position, come back on my hands and rest on my elbows so that I can neutralize the threat. I can blow low and go in here with toe kicks to the inner thigh or here. Anything he does to come down at me in a hitting manner with the hands, come on down, he's broken his balance and brought things to me. There again, like I said though, if he's back there, from here, he can start low kicking with that kick, the bottom foot kick, side kick, anything he wants to do, I have to kind of, defend and cover myself up from. And at the same time, if I want to get out of this thing, I've got to do enough damage to neutralize the threat so I can regain my ground, get back up. So on a quick review, we initially introduced the side kick, went to the bottom kick, then into the front kick. Then we reversed that process by drawing those techniques together off the threat. We went to the front kick, then down to the knee. Maybe I closed in with the heel palm. Then we come into the bottom foot to where it's the closest, one of the closest range techniques for kicking that we have. So each one of these techniques gives us, for one, a different access to targets, and then a specific use that'll be more dominant than, say, one of the other techniques we've used. Now we're going to go to the snap kick off the roundhouse. And round kicking, let's go in here. We'll use the toe. I can use the shin, the second one. He just wants a piece of me, doesn't he? I can use the shin on the tie kick. But the shin gets me in a little bit closer, and we're not ready to work on that yet. We're really just working pinpoint, snap, single direct attacks. Okay? So as I come in here with the ball of the foot or the toe, I'm aiming into the targets that are going to knot him up with that type of technique. Let's switch sides for just a second. Yeah, there you go. So let's just work off the threat. Wins right hand. See, naturally we've got the groin. See how easily the knee position from the snap kick roundhouse transitions to the bottom kick. Okay, the roundhouse can also transition to the side kick, but look at the distance and the position that you have to take. You have to go here, retract, and load, where here, it's a very short rotation of the hip and the knee joint. So from the snap round kick, and by the way, I don't know if the camera reveals this, but Wynn didn't wear a cut. Hey! We target into the groin, into the side kick. Anywhere where we can pinpoint and target the body, like the floating ribs, the sternum, the abdominal area, these are great for the front and the rear leg snap kick as far as a round kick goes. The lead leg is going to be your fastest weapon. There's too much transition and turning of the hip to really execute your rear leg. A rear leg technique is after you juice this guy up a little bit. So turn back around so they can see your pelvic or your groin area, and bring the right hand in. we touch and make emphasis, snap kick either into the solar plex, into the groin, down into the foot. Now I'm not going to do one of these triple razzmatazz kicks, right? Not in a self-defense situation. But one of the things about practice is being able to fire and retract and do that motion. Part of the retraction and why you want to retract fast and load it for a next kick is in case that guy grabs your leg, okay? So off the threat, we've got the round kick supposedly into the solar plex, into the groin, even to the hip, pelvic area. That all hurts, right, Wendy? A lot of the guys like this one. They just love it when you do this, right? Okay, so even toe kick to the inner part of the shin. So anywhere along this area. The problem becomes when you start pinpointing things with the toes is the accuracy factor. So if I'm going to throw a low one and I try to throw this into here, chances are I'm going to miss. I need more surface than what this gives me. That's the benefit of coming in there with the shin and blowing that shin out, or the top of the foot. So you can kick with the top of the foot, or you can come in and go shin to shin, and you've got a lot greater force, or you turn and you bring the shin in for the tie kick. But there again, we've closed the range, and I really want to specifically work on the snapping techniques for the lone light destruction at this point. Excuse me. So let's go off that round kick, the threat. We've got one. We're going to go to the side kick and to the bottom kick. Okay, right there. We could go round kick, front kick, side kick, bottom kick, and mix those sequences. That's the idea of having an arsenal of low-line kicking, is being able to go from one kick to the other kick very fast without thinking about it. If you're thinking about it, it's taking too much time and it's not spontaneous, and most importantly, it's not natural. Okay, let's go into another technique. This is a little bit closer. Say the threat is already on top of us, he's approached us, laid his hands on us. We don't necessarily want to light him up, but we want to control him. And we want to do a little bit of initial damage, and we're still staying within the kicking base, okay? So Winnow approaches, touches me, got his things to say. I could also hit him here or hit him there. I'm going to stay with the low base attack. I'm just going to party this out and come in here with the heel kick or the hooking kick into the inner part of the thigh. Now this can be transferred low, and I could do that as a read for a throw, but the idea here is to do some damage and neutralize him. This one really hurts when you hit that inner thigh. So when he comes out, I push it and come right inside. See, if I step down, I can use that same kicking motion to lock into position to where I come inside and I've got this foot trap. We're going to go to some of that material a little bit later, but that's the idea of some of these different kicks, is as you apply them, it adjusts your range and you can go right off into some other technique, okay? So let's take the threat. I'll push this off. I come inside here, go to the hit, or go to the kick, then go to the placement after the kick. Now from here, it's a matter of driving his knee down, and I'm into a controlling technique, or hitting him and lighting him up with some other possible options, right? So let's add that up, and what I'm going to do is have him step with his right foot as he makes his placement. Now from here, see, doesn't matter. I can take this one, and I'm in a better position to outbalance him. Now his body's twisted up pretty good.
Hey, man, move your truck, all right? Not a problem, I will. Hey. Yeah! Back off. I'll move it now. All right. Hey.
Let's keep moving. We're going to go upstairs now, work on some single direct attacks as far as targeting the eyes, targeting the face. When it comes to inside, up close and personal, I don't care if it's a thumb to the eye, a finger, heel palm to the eye socket, to the nose, under the chin. It's all about something coming out on a forward thrust and disrupting this oncoming attack, or at least neutralizing the threat. Let's bring out Lisa. Come on in, Lisa. You doing?
Good.
All right. Basically, we could start out with me grabbing her and a couple dozen other things, but what we're going to work on is just her coming up from a relaxed position and going right into targeting the eyes. Now, usually we'll wear safety goggles or safety glasses, and that's one of the things you want to focus for. But at the same time, when a person's been training with you for some time, you want to be able to allow them to execute the movement with a certain degree of safety barrier and confidence. Okay? Let's just go in and work targeting to the eyes. Now, another thing I'll do is I'll just walk around in a semicircle here. Now we can get a little bit different camera angle at it, and I'll either fade in or I'll back out, and then that way she'll either have to draw into me or have to fade out and utilize the thrusting while she changes her body weight. Okay, come on in a little bit closer as I move in on you. Oh, that's pretty good. That's it. Okay, good. So as you can see, the idea is just to come on up in, get as much as you can, as direct as possible. Some of the hardest attacks to deflect are the ones that are coming in on a straight linear line. And if you're using body movement or evasive tactics, boy, you know, it's almost an unstoppable tool. A lot of people don't anticipate a threat to the eye, and when they respond to it, they usually throw their body weight back. That either allows you a split second to distance or another chance for you to throw a combination attack in there. Okay, we're isolating techniques here just so you can get a better idea of exactly what your options are on a single direct attack. Anything from any situation or any angle, there should be an answer to it. So I'm going to talk and mention a few targets to Lisa. She'll bring them out, go ahead and pinpoint them with a few repetitious blows, then we'll move on to the next one. So other than the Bill G, I think a good one is a heel palm to the face or right into the nose, which is pretty threatening. If nothing else, you immediately get reaction with your eyes watering and definite pain. So very explosive, kind of spooky. Nobody likes to stand here and let people fire at them. Now, due to her size and the fact that I'm a little bit larger, she has an upward energy. So she can get underneath the underneath the chin, that heel palm, and drive this back. It's going to cause a lot of pain, a lot of power. Energy is going to be throwing me back, setting me up for a low-line attack. So the targeting and the power that she's able to derive is great at the very least. Okay, come on in, do the heel palm to the chin again. Okay, now from the heel palm to the chin, she could do either a tiger mouth to the throat, so that's ear clap to the side of the head, which I hope she doesn't hit too hard. On the way in, she could thumb the eye. And she can also hit you with a nice right cross. I always hate to think about that one. Right. From there, she's got the option, say, of a ridge hand. Just take it. That's it. Now, one of the nice things, ridge hand to the temple. Boom, she rolls her hand over. She can grab the ear, pull me in, and hit me with an elbow. So if I'm real close, or if I'm in here, come on in here a little bit closer, she could just clang me with a right elbow. Okay? And that could be at a horizontal level or vertical, coming straight up into the chin. Come up. There you go. That's over. Bring this one up on this line. Let's go up. There you go. Looks like a good hold to me. There you go. Big open spot. Okay? And there again, A lot of the times when we work out, we don't work off a rehearsed concept. We're just throwing techniques out, and we want to develop the tools. We're going to come back, show how these tools are developed by utilizing the focus pads and putting the techniques into better perspective. Okay, we're going to move on, incorporate the focus pad utilizing the similar techniques that we just worked with Lisa. Laura's going to whip them out for us on the focus pad. So, neutral stance, lead hand, build your fingers. As soon as the focus pad comes up, she just wants to go directly to the target. And go. That's it. That's more than powerful enough. You don't need a lot of energy when you're talking about a spear hand or a finger thrust to the eye. Let's increase that power, go with the heel palm. Now we could develop the heel palm just from the face to the face, into the nose, bring the pad here. Not much different, see? So if you're developing a heel palm to the nose, it'll be the same technique as you're developing on the focus pad. So you get same attributes, you can switch in the target, switching the target. Now she goes to the thumb to the eye, she still wants, whoa, she wants to get in there. She still wants to use that heel palm so that the heel palm makes impact on the cheek or the jaw at the same time, take advantage of the fact that her thumb's there. So we'll just tilt this a little bit so that she can slide off but still keep the thumb there. That's it, just like that. And I'll move my face back. Over there. That's it. Now she's doing the heel palm or the clap to the side of the head without blowing out my ear. Go ahead and slap your head. That's it. That's it. I'll just bring this up and she can let it happen. Let it happen. That's it. And from the other side. That's it. So not the wind up. That's it. Good. Okay, one of the other ones we worked on was a knife hand or a tiger mouth, open hand to the throat. Okay. Now, one of the ways we could practice that is just for impact, you turn the focus pad sideways, and she gets to drive that in. It's pretty good impact. We want to be eating that. Good. Good. Okay, now, cover that overhand right. Just some of the basic tools. We're going to move in once we got to go into the combinations, start talking about style and different things like that. I'll show you how to put them together in group sets, combinations. So, just overhand right. No step. Pretty tough to punch without the step. Huh? Okay, now we went in like we were very close. I come into here, so this one will be a left elbow, right there, which in essence would be upside the head. There you go. Good. Now we have the vertical elbow come up underneath the chin. And so to give her that target, I just step in here. There's some real serious attacks that could be had by taking advantage of striking tools, whether it's your kick or your open hand. Right now we're just looking at single direct attack, things that we can do one time, get in there, make the attack, neutralize the threat, and then get out of there. These are just some of the basic one-strike methods that we have. When we go into the combinations, things really get moving.
Hey, what's going on, man?
You the badass that runs this gym?
You know, this is just my gym, man.
Looks so
Just
bad
my
to
gym.
me.
Hey, come on, back up. Come on.
Tom? All right.
Hey, let's move on and work on the attack by draw. Attack by draw is just one of the many strategies you can utilize when you're approached by an aggressor. One way to assure that he's going to attack a specific sector is give him a big opening. My hands are high, he's probably going to take the low base. If I'm standing here like this, he's probably either going to take the body or fake to one side and create an opening. So if my hands are down or one side is open, hopefully he'll take that bait and he'll go to that open chamber. So, whether you call them zones, sectors, they're entry lines. And the same ones that are open on you, you can mirror back and set him up. So we want to set our opponent up by giving him an open window, then take off in another direction. Okay? Greg, you want to come on in here? One of the scenes we worked on earlier was Greg just putting his hand on my shoulder. Next thing you know, he's going to clock me because this is such a great open window. Okay? So to prevent that, I want to, as he approaches, I've got the open window. I've got the option of blocking that, then coming down and changing this. Now as I come behind, here's the knee spike, there's the kick, elbow, and we can load up in on this guy. So when you do an attack by draw, it's all about just getting him into a position where you can unload one of the single direct attacks at him, or keep firing on him and attack by combinations and just light this guy up, depending on the situation, the scenario, and where you're at. So as Greg moves in, he checks, I come underneath, there's a nice elbow or a shot to the groin. We're back behind him, working into the knee spikes and hopefully even into the locks or throws into the body motion. Or throw him into, say, a wall, that kind of thing. So whether it's, now if I have my hands like this, he might go for the front kick. So I'm going to party that out, drive that knee, utilizing just a low scooping block, and then a destruction off the single direct attack of the side kick. But basically, we're going to close with the hands. So he comes in, I'm going to either block this, see here's a shot to the eye, now you come in with an elbow, you're underneath him. Here, if I want to take him in that direction, I can do this hook or the foot trap and send him sailing. Okay? Good work, Greg. Let's switch sides, just get a little bit different perspective on the slip. So go slow with the slip, and I'll come down low, coming underneath his base. See, here's the hit here, elbow quick combination, so 1, 2, body checking, elbows coming over the top, knee spike, there's that bottom foot kick, foot trap, and you send him sailing. Now all combinations are just an issue of firing off techniques one after another according to how he's going to respond. If I come underneath the duck on the first line, I'm guaranteed I'm going to get this. This is going to bend him over if he ain't got a cup. Boom. Nice shot right there. Okay, that should bend him over. Then as the elbow comes inside, I get more dynamics. Great power out of this elbow. And I'm working in conjunction with his body falling down, going ahead and spiking with the knee. Then to the bottom foot, taking another joint. And then taking the next closest tool to destruction is a foot trap. I'm setting him up here for punches or more elbows or anything I want to do, but in essence I just send him bumping and flying. There's no place for him to go. He's going to fall and injure his ankle, which that allows me more time to get away. Hey, let's just take a minute. I want to introduce you to the Silent Fighter. It's a padded training dummy I use for close quarter and long-range tool development. The arms are padded. Middle arm represents a low straight punch or a knee coming in, even a parry off a front kick. Lower limb, this represents the lead leg, and the trunk, no doubt, represents the rear base. One of the things you'll notice about is that he's got a longer arm than the other one, so we can use this for the index finger kind of getting in our face. We'll put some glasses on him so that's viable, and we all know where the groin is. So what we're going to work on is being right square in front of this guy so that we can slip his arm. One of the training aids that I use in the boxing combinations is just getting this hand in here, coming in, shifting, and trying not to clank myself with this lower unit. But that's all part of it, just like that's an uppercut. That's what you want to deal with this hand for. So as we come in underneath, we get used to slipping it, and slipping it. And then there again, once we start applying the technique, slip, groin hit, elbow, knee spike, here's the foot throw, here's the arm bar. There's a simulation of the takedown or the throw. So at any time, once you go into a set or go into a technique, if it's with one specific idea in mind, you also want to be fluid enough to where you can change the flow, especially if someone's moving on you. So if I'm concentrating on this guy and I'm knee spiking, and I've got him in an arm bar, or I've got him by the head, and I see someone coming, I want to bring him over here to disrupt their aggressive attack. So let's work on this slip. We'll take this from the idea that he's now touching my shoulder. I'm going up into the eyes, coming down below, hitting his groin, feeding the elbow, knee spike, and then switching positions. From here, if I get real stylish, you can see this would be the foot trap, and here's the lever that I got on the leg. So we're taking him out to this line. Okay? One more time, maybe a couple times. The idea is we've already squared off. I've opened this sector. Okay? So now I got to close, slip in underneath, get an initial hit or two, come inside. I forgot the knee spiking, but there again, it doesn't matter. I can back that out of the way, take this guy either for a trip, a ride, or a sail. Okay? Here we go. I'll slip that knee in this time. Let's just isolate that knee. Once we come in underneath, the elbows are given. The knee spike's there. Knee spike's there. I can come out to this side, knee spike here. Doesn't matter. When you're utilizing a training dummy, you want to try to apply the techniques from a variety of angles. Naturally, the extremities here allow us to have at least an obstruction, so we have to clear those. Sometimes even monitor them with touches, taps, and sensitivity. Once you attach to somebody, you want that attachment to maintain a very active base, sensitivity. If my forearm is divided right here, anything down here should activate that elbow. Anything on this side should activate the palm. So anytime I come inside flow, I'm trying to monitor and move this guy around. Now, just because I've opened this sector in the attack by draw, it doesn't mean I've got to respond with the knee spike or come inside and slipping and closing. That might be drawing me in a little bit tighter than I want to be. So part of that factor is he's close enough here. I use this as an obstruction. This didn't touch his eyes. He might have jerked his head back. That's when I go to that low side kick we worked on the single direct attack strategy with. So from there, now I can come out, maybe in combination off and come back out and distance or distance off. Sometimes I fall into some classical footwork, different things like that. I try not to overemphasize a very stylish martial arts approach because I think it has a tendency to tighten you and contain you to those styles that you're trying to emulate. So part of training should be working from a natural mode and just kicking it in gear when you're ready to go. So from a real natural mode. If I get in a confrontation, I'm stepping back or I'm going, I'm a Thai boxer, here let's deal with Wing Chun. If I start kicking into that, boy, anybody on the sidelines can see what's going on. It's better I take a posture, hi, how are you? Even this is attack by draw because my hand's down. Of course, then I'll go to an immobilization attack or a neutralization by sectoring off and then going to the hips. You're in. It really doesn't matter what the combinations are. Once we go to the tool development part of this curriculum, and we start adding up the combinations with the focus pads and showing you how to go range to range, you'll get a better understanding of how spontaneous it is and how easy it is to go from boxing to Silat to Wing Chun and back into the Sambo or into a grappling line. All right, let's take this attack by draw strategy and put it together with, say, some style concepts. Maybe concepts from the Thai boxing, a concept from the Kung Tao, concept from the Wing Chun, and just see where you can see the connecting tissue above everything, I'm far from cure anything. My energies and my movements flow from method to method. I literally have to force myself to maintain a specific line or strategy. That's the way my movement is. It's very spontaneous, and that's the way I try to keep it. But for a teaching basis, what you want to try to do is tell the student or fix the drill, fix the method of attack so that those techniques come out. Okay? So we're going to open this up. I'm going to take this off of the staff technique for form 1 and 2, or for movement 1 and 2. With the staff, it's striking head to the knee, striking head to the knee. As you see, this side of the body's open, so the draw is here. As he feeds me, I'm going out to the outside here. So one more time, I'll neutralize this and come to the outside. If you look at that motion, that would be like a number 1 strike or hand posture for the staff. But there again, if you drop the hand posture, changes to a fist instead of an open palm position, you'll therefore be emulating a little bit different style. So each movement is a little bit different. Off of that movement, I've got 1, see from 2, I'm dropping the elbow down into the rib cage right in here. See, from there I can step through, hit, and I've got my foot trap in the arm bar. Okay? A lot of times I don't like to do the stepping through unless I'm trying to get behind him. There's a reason for it, especially if he's big and he's powerful. I want to be able to slip that movement. Okay? So real slow, I just make the placement. We want to go right into this motion. So 2 hands come out at the same time. And 1, just like that. And 1, just like this. So when you think of the movement of the staff, you think of 2 hands moving together. Let's back this up for just a second. Let's just bring his hand into an intentful position. Lead hand out, and we'll go into here. See, now if he's got that left hand forward, I might try to take him out to this side. You can see how easily he's off-centered now balanced. So if you start reading the attacks as they coincide with his balance point. See, according to his balance point, it's real hard for me to execute this movement here. I've got to change the line. I can't stay with the same strategy. That's why in a given situation, something's going to be fed to you, but the ability to change right in the middle of it has to be about feeling, has to be about perceptual speed, reactionary speed. So these are concepts that you add and you develop over time. So even if I'm initiating a movement, if I'm not getting the energy from it, I'm not going to try to force it. Even if that's a technique I'm teaching, I'm going to break away from it, do something, draw on a different energy or draw on a different method of attack. Then I'm going to try to come right back into the movement. Okay? So let's have him switch to a right hand lead, right foot forward. That way I can execute the exact technique that I'm trying to apply here with the 2-hand motion of the staff. If he just brings his hand up in the guard position, you can see where this now has a little bit more of an application to where I'm trapping and I'm hitting here. The idea is he's going to right punch me. I'm going to come out to the outside. Now, from here, as this hand sweeps down, I'm applying number 2 movement, which is the second movement on the hit with the staff. I'm applying it with the elbow. From there, I'm into a slip, and I can spin his guy and dump him right here with an elbow and bring him right back to me, clear the groin line, lock this up, or choke him out. So there again, it's about movement. Movement that draws you into a specific zone, a specific category, and applying the method of style, along with the concept of attack by draw. I've got to get him to come forward and attack, and then apply the movement. See, now number 2 in movement can either be specifically to the elbow, but I don't have to necessarily, I can go here. I can kick this out and blow there and knee spike here. From there, now we can do the spinning head throw and dump him right down in front where we can hit him, step on him, or break an ankle and move back. So we still want to maintain the concept of constant striking once engagement has happened, but we only want to do as much damage as it takes to neutralize the threat. Hey, let's switch hand postures now. We came out with that initial movement. I'll bring out a staff here in a little bit so you got a better idea exactly what I'm talking about. If you have a staff and you're swinging it across, this is the hand posture that we're getting out of the movement. Just step back for a second, Greg. I'll apply this on the side fighter. If I come across this way, a hand sweep, my adhesion or my attachment comes across in double palms, swinging simultaneously together. Staff movements are much like Aikido movements. They're enhanced and coordinated by total body commitment. I'll take that staff. So if we're standing out here in the background and I'm in a ready position and I'm crouched, this sweeps out and it comes into here. So as you can see, the sweep literally could touch this and this. Anything the staff could touch, the hand will touch as well. Now a completed motion would draw this back into this movement. Where the transitional motion allows us to stop right about here. See, and the hands are separated in the staff. So I could poke him with this end of the staff, pull this through, and make my attachment or make my adhesion here. Without the staff, that motion comes across like this, straight across. So this becomes the attachment. From there, we apply the second movement. So 1, 2. See how the body dips? That allows that elbow. Then from there, we just went to the footwork because we've attached ourselves to our opponent. So it doesn't matter what entry we used or what method we used. Once we've made attachment, we're feeding off his energies and his movement or his response to our initial attack. So once again, the staff comes out and we hit full retraction, it makes it back to the hip. But if we use it as a transitional movement, literally, this is where our hand movements come into play. Now from the 1 to the 2, that's where this elbow came into play, and I just followed it up with the knee, then went to the hooking. So that's the concept, or that's the idea of movement once we get things going. So let's bring Greg in again. Come on in. And what I'll show is those 4 strikes. 1, 2, 3, 4. As Greg strikes me 1, here's my movement here. See the opening to the body, he goes to 2. See? Now he could take the knee. Let's go ahead and take the knee. So off of 1, he takes the knee. Bang, okay? So if he does that fairly fast, I cover and he gets the hit. So what I have to do is take my secondary movement and intercept it. See now how this goes through there? See how we had the head to spin and throw? That's the idea of this movement behind it. So as he comes into 1 and he fires to 2, I use the same movement to neutralize it. From here, you know, we got a variety of blocks, we got a variety of throws and different things we can do. But really, all we want to do is duplicate this movement or concept to neutralizing. If I've got the staff, just throw your right hand. See how this comes to here. So we utilize the staff as a hook. If I don't have the staff, we're right into here. As he starts to throw that hook into my body with his left, I bring the elbow in. This comes up. This could even be going out. Here we can knee spike him. Here we can spin him, even lock him up right here. Or foot trap him and give him a bump. If we spin him, we let him come straight around, and we peel that head back, get this hand in a good position, maybe stomp on his face, and apply a nice lock. So the idea is, once the initiation of movement has started, we want to follow this guy, intertwine, stay with his energy, stay with his reaction, but just keep juicing him basically till he submits, or we've done enough damage so we can get out of there, or we've neutralized the threat. He's no longer any threat to us at all.
Hey man, did you throw my brother out of the bar last night?
Hey, yeah, but that's between us.
Get your ass down. Want some, huh?
I'm good, man. I'm done.
Fucking arm.
I'm good. Do it.
Hey, let's move on. We're gonna get rocking into the immobilization attack. We wanna mobilize the incoming force, neutralize it, and get something in there for ourselves, right? I want you to keep in mind, I'm not selling or working a JKD tape here. This is 5 principles of movement and 5 strategies of attack that Bruce felt were very essential. I think too much time has been put into trying to sell yourself as one style or another style, and in essence, our duties as martial arts instructors is actually provide a variety of people, from short to old to young to, handicapped, a viable form of self-defense that's functional for their physical status, their mental ability to execute these techniques. If I'm showing somebody a Bill G to the eyes, but they can't stomach the idea of finger thrusting them, then it's a waste of time. And they have to communicate that back to me. Or you have to remove it from their initial training until you can get them to have enough intent in their training to realize that that's a ditch effort to get a big person off you and to neutralize the situation. So it's the same thing with snapping a knee or taking an elbow across the bridge of the nose. Sometimes people can't stomach the idea of causing that much pain or inflicting that much damage. But at the same time, what's going on? Why are we even talking about it? Why are we here? Interesting thing came over the internet. This guy was all panicked because there was some big guy tracking him. Well, it's a little bit late to go into a crash course on self-defense. If you know you're going to be in hot water, whether it's your fault or anybody else's, you just have to take those steps to ensure your safety and your family. Your family depends on you. So if you go out and get trashed and this guy literally stomps your head into a curb and you don't have insurance, or whether you have insurance, there's going to be some time off work loss. So somewhere along the line, you guys have to swallow that. You have to swallow the fact is, if he's out to get you, then it's you against him. And in essence, he's taking your livelihood, taking your ability to take care of your family, and maybe even live, just for granted. So we can't take things like that for granted when it's about training. But getting back to just training, we're going to bring this out and go to the immobilization techniques, and I'll show you a variety of methods for going into it off the Filipino arts. I'm primarily a Filipino practitioner that utilizes the concepts of 5 ways of attack as just an additional asset for a teaching structure. Bob, you want to come in? We're going to do this 4-point cruzada, which works from an open grip. If you remembered initial movement, we did a shutdown. I'll show that after we've done the stick work. So on a 4 count, we'll go real slow. Crossing 1, crossing 2, and bringing these out. It's not important that you look at the stick. It's important that you look at the hand. So we'll deepen our stance here a little bit. Notice the focus point of the stick as they cross, or at the head. But the hand posture match. We're mirroring each other's hands. And we'll just stick it out just to show you that these are important in order to develop your skill. Okay. So in essence, the speed of the stick and the free spinning movement, fast repetition. You could never train your hands without hours and hours of movements, mimicking these things, and get the same skill level that you're developing utilizing the stick. There's several reasons for that. It's a weighted tool. You have to perceive and change the range as needed. As he advances, you retreat. He steps to the left, you step to the right. You're feeding off him. So all these things are additional attributes that come from just training in the stick. The eye and hand coordination. One of the most essential things, karate school usually will run you through a 3-year program, then give you a little bit of staff, maybe some tonfa or something like that, and stick defense 1 or stick defense 2. The Filipino arts start at the stick. Therefore, you eliminate the fear of the weapon, and you understand the movement so that if anybody approaches you with a weapon, and they come to here, they come to here, they come to here, you understand the movement and the posture. And it's taught to you in a progressive, ballistic manner so that you get the response immediately. You feel it. It's also audio reinforcement. You hear it. What else? The rhythms, the tempos, our natural beats. Everything that we live and breathe. How we breathe is a rhythm. How our heart beats is a rhythm. How we walk is also based in tempo. So I always like to tell people, if you can't dance when you get here, you're going to be a dancing fool when you leave. One way or the other, I'm going to make you dance. Either in pain or in skill to develop avoidance of pain. Okay? So let's put the sticks down on this cruzada line and come in and work this on the empty hand. Okay. We're going to come in, bring Bob in, do the empty hand cruzada line just to show you how the movements work. Anything you can do slow and methodic and position that hand, even if you do this cruzada motion with the emphasis of soft movements such as Tai Chi, you're going to ingrain the movement and it'll come out on a more instinctual level. If we just get out here and go, ah, we don't even know where our hands are going. We're just basically moving. So you want to do it very methodically and position yourself accordingly. Let's bring it out, Bob. Let's just touch right hand and left hand, then bring this one back out. So we're just hitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. There's a 6-count drill called Heaven. You can work off this same thing. It's just 4 counts. You don't need to confuse the issue. There's a lot of patterns off the Filipino art. Sorry. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So the idea that we're going to pull this cruzada off of was one of the initial scenes you've seen with Bob out there, where he gives me the push, pops up those hands, getting ready to jack me up. I'm going to slap him down, and who knows where I'll go from there. I'm not trying to impress you at this point in time. Now I'm trying to just give you some teaching skills and learning skills as well. As you teach techniques you're learning, you'll have better insight. Every time I approach a subject, I have to explain it probably to a different group of people, therefore pressing my efforts to get the word out. Okay? So Bob comes in, initiates it with a push, goes to set hands, I do the crossing, and then I either fire off with the shearing or the shearing. Now, one of the different things, remember I said tempo and beat is the issue here. When he does the push, and I come back, I'm not going to go 1, 2. I'm going to come off with brat. 3, 4. When you do the training, all 4 beats are continuous, like 4, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then they pick up 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That type of thing. When you apply it in real life, where you apply the strategy, you want to break that tempo. Ta-da! And I always encourage people to breathe with their movements, harden their stomachs, tighten their limbs up, psych themselves up. A certain amount of verbal reinforcement, whether it's a swear word or just a grunt and a groan, helps psychologically let this guy know you're coming back into his face, trying to get something that he's taking, right? So as he comes off on the push, 1, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I might just come into this type of stuff. Once I've got in, I'm not going to stop till I know that I'm kind of in control. So as you can see from the cruzada, one of the things I feel comfortable with, just hands up, is to shut down. Now I can go into these shearing lines. Once I separate from the shutdown, if I can bring them up a little bit, let's turn this here too. So first line, 1, 2, this one's got to shoot underneath the hand. So it becomes a shear. Boom! Now you want to think about somebody back there, and you shear that as well. Part of this is, off that is 1, 2. This shear is, look, I'll grab that clothing. So when I shear this time, I'm going straight through. If the shearing or the adhesion factor isn't working, or I don't want to hold on to this guy, I'm going to go to the straight blast. Therefore, I'm changing the Filipino entry into, say, the non-classical Kung Fu attachment, and attack. There again, I draw my arts from many areas and many relevant sources of material. And I try to give credit for those. They'll be in the credits. When I'm training out here, it's about movement. I add, take away. At the same time, I'm just trying to give you an insight into what your options are. We'll take this Cruzada and take it down into some base disruptions. Once we're in there again, we're moving on spontaneity. So I'll speed it up. That gets me jazzed and juiced up, ready to rock. Then we'll try to comprehend where I went with it. Okay? So off the Cruzada, we have the 1-2. Now this shoots in and this is here. See the headbutt right inside. Knee spike, elbow comes off. Now you're back into the back fist. This is viable with the side kick or into here. So if he's still there, you're bumping in, taking that, then maybe taking that foot. We'll send him sailing here in a few minutes, or I'll bring in somebody else that flies a little better, because one of the things with foot trapping, knee destructions, and base disruptions, when you're a heavy guy, you run the risk of tendon and ligament injury in the ankle and the knee. So, in which case, half the people I know are suffering from different things like that. If it ain't from the sambo or the jiu-jitsu, it's from the foot trapping and the throwing. So you have to be very careful about what you're doing and work techniques that are valid. Sometimes on this adhesive floor, because it's rubber and we stick to it, foot trapping with shoes are real hard to do. So you have to equalize that weight just right, offset the upper body, and take the lower unit. But moving back to the Cruzada, let's come on in here. See the crossing. Now, this one I sheared inside. What if, say, I feel like my elbow's down and I can't shear? Well, then I'll go from the Cruzada into the swinging gate, which rolls me into here. See, this loads me into either a knee spike. I can roll this out to the arm bar. See, from there we can go to controlling techniques or spin it, bounce them into the wall. So that's the idea. Can you do Cruzada off of one hand? Well, sure, that's just a destruction. So let's just bring the right hand out. If I do Cruzada here, see, I'm going to trap this hand and go right in to the swinging gate. Because of the line and the pressure you get from the swinging gate. We're here, we're working an outside swinging gate without adhesion. If that comes in on a back fist, see, I'm right there, and now we're attached. See? So part of what I want to share with you are drills such as these, but at the same time, how to blow from one line into the next. And as you can see, we went right into the Cruzada. We could make this happen. We could go from the two-hand catch by trapping here, and I go like that. He could trap that down, and we're back out to, say, a swinging gate. If I throw in a left bong sow, then we're right into here. On this particular movement, when we're going slow, see, this could shoot in at any time. Yeah, he wants to grab the fingers, maybe. See, then it's his game, right? He grabs those fingers, and he starts to press down. See, I'm gonna spin out and go to a lock. But that's part of engagement drills. Gives both people valid time to build a tempo and a rhythm instead of just going, okay, hit me. One-line attacks usually don't set you up for peripheral movement. You want to be able to pick things up without having to focus on it and look on it. You want to be able to feel it. Okay? So from the Cruzada, 1-2, here's the swinging gate. Swinging gate. Notice the swinging gate works off a back fist. So you hit this way, and you're constantly pressuring, but you can be closing in and going into the headbutts. These are shears. So once you've made attachment, you've got these swinging gate drills, then we go straight into the straight blast. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, but couldn't that be upward heel palms? Couldn't that slip? There's a thumb to the eye. Just pulls him down into the forearm. This brings him into the knee smash. There's the leg kick. So it's all about using those entries to get on the inside and take it from there. Cool. I'm having fun now. I'm starting to heat up in here. But that's part of training. Okay, you just work through energy levels. Go from one to the next. Cool down a little bit. Think about what you're doing. Go back in. We're on the swinging gate drill. If I bring Bob in here, he aims that puño for me. And we go here. Okay. How did that puño come to be? If I hit him with the number 1 and he does a deflection, and he's close, he does a puño. Well, I can't hit him back with another stick. He goes in here and he comes to the puño. I'm at puño range too until I get back here like this. Now he hits me one, and I come in and we're back at puño. See, I pull him away, he slips out, he hits me one, I come in here for puño. If he strikes me one, and I check, I can par here, and I'm into puño as well. See, I can remove, and then we're hitting. You can lock this in, and you can go all different kind of places. Remember, one of the things that happens in training is you don't acknowledge the hits. When Bob comes in here for one, and I go, whap, 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 now I come into puño, he's going, whoa. If I'm empty-handed, he comes into one, I go, 1, 2, 3, bang, boom. Then, now we can go to puño. I doubt it. The game's over. These are training vehicles to develop the skill so that you can fly through it. And stick training allows you that confidence, that movement. If I stand here on strike one, I'm reaching the impact. Anything coming from here is accelerated force. Anything going here, after his center line, is dissipating force. If he's striking me one, I'm going in. Right? If he's striking me one, I'm going in. See, now if I hit him here, he traps that down, I trap him down, and there's the swinging gate, applied in a variety of options. If he gives me that one, I might just come into the elbow because he's already accelerated this to weapons, so I'm bringing out the heavy artillery. And for one, being in close will neutralize his stick work, all right? Not to say that he can't utilize that puño. That's another issue, is being so caught up into your stick work that, whoa, where did it go? If I take number one and I come into here and Bob abandons his stick, see, now I've got to deal with immobilization of that and come into here and rock here. So if he knows when to use the weapon to get inside to scare the heck out of me, and then abandon that weapon, whether it's throwing it at me, you got this stick and the guy thinks you're going to hit him, you fake with this and you throw it at him, now you close with empty hands. Greatest tool, you know, something to get you on the inside. Okay? Back inside, excuse the pun, that's where we're at. Corto range, inside. I'm striking Bob number one, he comes in, and we're rolling this here. If he heavy hands me and pushes me down further than I need, I come out here. Now we're out into number two, coming through this way. This wouldn't be just like a heel palm coming in. And then we go 1 and 2. Okay. At any given time, with the stick, I've got a variety of other options. See, I could pick this up right there. See, I'm guiding that over, that's trapping, that's hitting. That's fairly sweet, right? So off of that 1 and 2, I'll put my stick down, apply those same empty hand lines. It's just, he takes one, gets here, I lose my stick, I'm still gonna work my back fist here, and my heel palm there. See? When this one comes here, see, that's right there. So when that number 2 comes over, and I par you here, that opens the gate, I pack and I come inside. Now I'm in position to add the juice in the fire that I want to when I close on it. So if we're back at 1, keep in mind interior line engagement. Just walk a circle. Good. Now we go to 2. Or how can I neutralize that 1? If I come in here, see, then we're right here, see. There's a neutralization into lock foot trap, nice throw or a leg break, something like that. Same time you got the joint, here's fingers, bang, clang. So whenever you attach, you could just stay on this guy as long as you're working him. He's kind of responding according to how much impact you're putting into each one of those targets. There again, back to the puño. See, when I go to palm, see, I can come over here. Let's see that line. To puño. He goes, hey, you basically have it there. Or you come over here with that foot trap. See, from off that puño. Mobilize. As soon as he touches me, I come across. I'm right there. So if I trap this, he touches, see, I'm on the outside, I'm setting him up, woo. That heel palm from this trap here, this brings that jaw right up to there. Bang, bang. Hitting him from the high to the low. When his balance goes off and his guard goes up, you attack that low base. One more time. Interior line. I could take it here and close my elbows, keeping the trap here. Thumb to the eye, head butt, elbow straight up. So I bob, and this time a straight line break against the knee. Into here, and I wedge. This gives me the arm bar, or I could take the eye right here, pull him in, set him up, hit him, take the foot trap, give him a bump, and a run. If he takes that much balance, I can bring him back off and kick into this knee, that type of thing. I'll bring him around to this side because I want to show how we can take him to the ground off this. I take him here, stepping through, I do this foot sweep. That's a good one. I step on this hand, start rolling forward. I get the arm bar and the foot trap, hand trap, shot to the eyes. Anywhere you basically want to hit him, or you can go right into here, and you basically have the kneeling break. You can do some pretty serious damage from here. So it should be attachment all the way down through the drill. Without the stick, Bob's poking me with his left hand, see, and then he fires that right. There we are. We're right in here to this motion. But I'm not drilling with him. So when he brings that hand up, I either bring this one down and go right inside, see? Or when he brings that up, I attach to it. Now when I see him come, I'm right into here. So when he comes up, I'm, hey, come on, back on. That just brings me closer to my target. If he brings that in and I go, hey, 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 boy, he's going to fire that hard. Bam, boom, boom, boom. I'm going to have to maybe change my given line of attack. There again, if I'm here and I bridge to this, if this hand's on this side of the center line, let's turn a little bit this way. This hand's on this side of the center line, I can pretty much assure that it's going to be a backhand. But if he comes out here like this and he's got that sucker over by his hip or up here, or even down at his side, now if it's at his side, I'm pretty close to sure there's going to be a wheeling roundhouse to the side of the head. So I'm going to have to come off this way, see? I'm going to have to take that center line, or go back to the strategy where we're thinking about a mobilization attack. When I feel his attachment here and I think that that's around, I'm going to go back into some of these other progressive indirects or attack by draw strategies, and that's the gig. They're all interactive. To break one strategy down, in essence, is to contain you to a specific concept. And remember, containment isn't our goal. The concept is to progress and expand past containment. Containment is merely the vehicle in which we get to the point to where we can understand how to break free from the nucleus, how to break free from the form or the set. People that say that forms have no merit have lost their method of training. I don't care if they're doing a focus pad, jab, cross, hook, uppercut. If you go, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, don't I look good? But what if I bring this hand up, bring my chin down, and hey, you know, bob a little bit so I look better? Well, if they've done that and they've analyzed the movement, then they're doing a form. They're just doing a ballistic form. If they've done that and they haven't even thought about it, then they're just swinging at the air and they ain't doing shit. And they're probably a good fighter, but they couldn't pass the skills on if they had to. So, you know, there's a difference between a fighter and a teacher. Somewhere along the line, the teacher passes on the element to the fighter, and he maintains, or he passes on, let's say, the sword. I no longer am a fighter, I'm a teacher. But that doesn't mean you can let your belly go. That doesn't mean you can let your physical skills drop to literally nil because you're a teacher. People still rely on you for the truth. People still rely on you to protect yourself so that what you're teaching has that validity. And also, if you're a father or a family man, you're also still protecting your family. And aren't your students your family?